Hello, everybody. I am back today. My name is Sarah, and I am a life coach and small business strategist. I work with moms that are entrepreneurs and they just need a minute for themselves so that they can figure out how to live into the best version of themselves and in all areas of life and look back on their life without regret. And one way that I do that is to encourage people to live healthy and make small changes in their habits day to day. And one of those is healthy eating. We want to, feed our bodies good food so that our bodies can function normally, our minds can function normally, and we can rock at whatever it is that we do. So you may have been following this comparison series that I've done on my Almond cow versus my MioMat machine, and they both make plant-based milks. And so I have promised a comparison video between the two, and I have made, I've got oat milk, almond milk, coconut milk, and cashew milk that I've made in both the MioMat versus the Almond cow machines, and I was going to do a very honest comparison. So for every one of these different types of milks, I used 1 cup of the ingredients. So if it was, I'm going to start out with the oat milk. If it was oat milk, I used 1 cup of oats and 5 cups of water, which made it pretty much to the minimum fill line on each machine. And I just made both milks, and I'm going to do a comparison. So starting with the oat milk, I put them all in mason jars. This is the oat milk, just so you see it. I just shook it up after it's been in the fridge for a day, of the MioMat oat milk. And I'm gonna taste it for you. So it's very I can tell that it's oat milk. I can really, it's almost like a thinner version of oatmeal. So very pure taste, a little bit thicker, kind of more so of the oat taste than I am used to getting from the store. So if you're used to store-bought plant-based milks, then and that more mild flavor, then you may go towards the Almond cow. So this is the Almond cow version of the oat milk, and to taste it, it's a little bit thinner and a blander taste than in the MioMat. So just a quick comparison there. And then the next up is the coconut milk from the MioMat. So I've just shaken this up, and I will say that from the MioMat, the coconut milk actually is dispersed in the water more after shaking it up than you'll see, because you can see it's liquid on the top, and versus the Almond cow coconut milk, I was able to put a cup, like I said, of the ingredients of coconut milk, but this one, hopefully I don't spill it, but you can see that there's chunks of coconut at the top, and so it's like a thinner texture. So like I said in my previous video, which I'll link here, for coconut milk, still the MioMat definitely wins because it stays thicker, and that consistency of more of the canned version of coconut milk that I like to cook with to kind of thicken up and give that creamy texture to my dishes in cooking. And so still the Almond cow kind of, to me, falls a little bit short because it kind of separates out pretty quickly. And even I took a video, which I'll show here in a second, of what they did in the fridge and how they separated so that you can see that. Okay, it's the next morning, the day after I made this, about 4 o'clock yesterday. I made 4 to 5. I made a lot of these, and you can see the almond cow almond milk versus the MioMat almond milk. You can kind of see the amount of sediment or pulp, if you will, from the almonds, like the way that they separate. And then this is the MioMat coconut milk and the versus the almond cow coconut milk. There was a lot of settling, and you can see there's not as much pulp in there. And so this is a lot more watery as of the next day. And then now you can see the this is the MioMat oat milk versus the almond cow oat milk, and then the cashew milk from the MioMat and the cashew milk from the almond cow. And then this is the cashew milk. So cashew milk is my personal favorite as far as taste goes of the plant-based milks. So we're gonna try this one. Again, I really taste the cashews, and it's a thicker consistency. And then the almond cow cashew milk, I can't really taste the cashews as much, and it is a thinner consistency. And again, this is after 1 day in the refrigerator and shaken up. The last one is the almond milk from the MioMat. So it's thicker and it tastes a lot more like almonds. You can really taste that it's almond milk. And versus the almond cow milk. Thinner. I know it's almond milk, but it's not that like hit you in the face almonds flavor. Now, comparison as far as time, temperature, taste, and pulp. So the time it takes, so in the almond cow, to make any type of plant-based milk in the almond cow, it takes 1 minute. So I stopwatched, timed it, and it was exactly 1 minute every single time. And then I used the raw milk setting on the MioMat, because the MioMat actually does have several different settings. It has cereal milk, soy milk, smoothie, creamy soup, chunky soup, porridge, and a cleaning mode. And so I used the raw milk setting, and that took just over 13 minutes to make each thing of the milk. So there is, that 12-minute difference between of prep time. The cleaning was actually like the reason that I went for the almond cow to begin with and didn't even originally look into another plant-based milk maker was because of the filter that is on the almond cow. So you put the material in here, and this is a little filter. I don't know if you can kind of see the grates. So you don't have that extra step of adding this little filter like you do the MioMat. Now I will say with the oats, the coconut, and the cashews, there isn't really that much pulp. I'll put pictures in here of all of the different amounts of pulp. And so it wasn't that big a deal actually to have to use this, but with the almond milk, the almond cow was just so much easier because the pulp was already contained. And in the MioMat, for the same amount of ingredients, same amount of liquid, everything, I had to dump this out like 3 times. and it just was a lot more work to make almond milk in the MioMat. So hands down, if you're just interested in making almond milk and you don't mind that it being a little bit more bland version, like you can't taste the almonds as much, then Almond Cow is the way to go. It's way easier. And the pulp in the MioMat from the almonds was a lot more like watered down. So if you want to save the almond pulp to bake with or make a porridge out of or things like that, specifically to bake with, if you wanted to dry it out and then do baked goods, you would be a lot easier and a lot more, the texture is a lot better for baking that you get out of the Almond Cow. So I'll show the pictures that I took here in a second. So, but if you wanted to dry out the pulp and try to use it to bake from the MioMat, the almond pulp, to kind of get the most for your money, as far as, because almonds are not cheap these days, then it would take a lot longer to dry them out, because it puts a lot more water into it. You're putting it directly into the water because the MioMat does not have that bucket. It's just this piece that you put on to make the almond milk or the milk. So you've got the time, the 12-minute difference, and then there's also temperature. So this can be a good thing and a bad thing depending on what you want. If you're a purist and you, especially people on a raw diet, like you don't want it any way cooked, then the Almond Cow is going to be your winner because it does not heat it up. It keeps it room temperature. But even on the raw milk setting, the MioMat, we actually put a food thermometer in there, and it was a little bit over 100 degrees every time for all of the milks. It was like 108, 106 degrees when it was done. So it does heat it up to that 100-degree point. And then the texture, like I said, is just a thicker milk overall on all of the different kinds of milk that I made with the MioMat, versus the Almond Cow was a little bit more watery, like bland texture, like not as thick. So the winner, it kind of, like in this case, I love that I have both, and it kind of is very much a preference here. Like I said, if you want it to be heated up and you don't mind that they're heated up a little bit and you get that thicker texture, then the MioMat is your best. And if you're looking for, you want to bake with it, you want to get the most out of your money, especially for the almond pulp, then the Almond Cow is the best. So you kind of have to determine which one. And then also in my last video, I talked about that you can use less ingredients to make milk in the MioMat. For comparison purposes, I did use the same amount of ingredients in all 4 types of milk just to keep it fair and do like more of a consistency test. You have the difference in taste, the difference in time, and like I said, the cleaning is about the same except for the almond milk. So and then let's see, I talked about the sifting, everything. So I hope that this has been helpful. I'll also put in a couple of clips of me pouring out each of the types of different milks from each machine so that you can see kind of the consistency there. let me know in the comments which one you think is the winner. And if you have any other questions, if you would like to connect with me, my website is withsarahjane.com. And Sarah is with an H, JANE.com. And also, if you have decided that the MioMat is for you, there is a discount link in the comments. And I'm also gonna reach back out to Almond Cow and see if I can get you a discount there too. They did away with their affiliate link, so I'm just gonna email them and say, hey, I did this video, and if people wanna buy, I would love to give them a discount. So check out the description and see if I was successful in that after you watch this. All right, I hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any further questions, let me know. If you have any issues with your machine, just know I am not affiliated with either company really, other than the fact that MioMat did send me the handy dandy gadget to try out and compare to the Almond Cow, but otherwise I am not otherwise affiliated. So if you have like technical questions or things like that, then reach out to the company. If I can answer anything else on, ingredients that I used or texture or anything like that, just comment below and I'll read all of them. And I hope you guys have the best day. Live healthy, happy, and fulfilled. Take care.